Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the zwebby.com and YouTube video series on how to build a website from scratch. And more importantly, how to learn how to properly build a website without going to a CMS content management system such as WordPress or Modo CMS. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to walk you through on how to, well, first and foremost, I'm going to walk you through some basics of what you need to learn and understand before we dive into code. And if this is your first time ever wanting to do something like this, it may seem a bit challenging, but rest assured, I will definitely go ahead and walk you through on how to properly build this website. So let's go and get started. So first and foremost, it's very important to understand that websites in general have to follow a protocol. And the protocol is from W3C or W3.org. So it's a World Wide Web Consortium. Man, if I could get that out. So let me walk you through on what they do here. So basically, this is the standard on what most front-end developers look to in reference to making sure that their code is compliant and up to date. Now, which HTML5, or also known as Hypertext Markup Language 5, it's very important that what we do as developers and use within that language platform matches what these guys have here. So the W3C Consortium, or Consortium, it's very universal. It's available on any device, accessible with people with disabilities, royalty-free. It's powerful, transformational, etc. And this website is great for understanding a little bit of what they do as an organization and how to stay compliant. So definitely take some time, go on this, and get familiar with what you do. Also, another great thing is they built a website or a platform for beginners or web developers of all types called w3schools.com. I personally consult this quite frequently just to get some assistance if I come up on a bit of a snag while I'm more or less building a website. And so, if you want to learn how to do HTML on your own outside of this video series, this is a great way. Also JavaScript and CSS, which I will get into in other series. SQL is a database language, which is primarily used for backend support. And I'll get into that in other series too, primarily in my intermediate and advanced courses. PHP is a web server programming language. I'll touch on a little bit of that. jQuery is an abbreviated version of JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript fairly well, you'll be able to catch on to jQuery. And jQuery, a lot of web front-end developers use or choose to use jQuery just because it's faster to write out in code. So that's the biggest strength for that. And then Python is another web server programming language. We won't really touch too much on Python because my specialty is front end and primarily back end in the .NET platform. But Python is a great language for UI, not UI, but artificial intelligence, AI, and it's widely used as a type of AI platform for web servers. So if you want to learn Python and get into AI, artificial intelligence, definitely pick it up on this website. There's plenty of Udemy courses out there that touch on it. And so, yeah. Okay, good. So the w3schools.com, this is a great platform to learn all your front-end code. Oh, and then Bootstrap. Bootstrap 4 is what I use, and I'm going to definitely use it in this video series. So you definitely will be familiar with what Bootstrap 4 is. Bootstrap is a type of CSS language. It was created by Twitter so that it could boost the dynamic content or dynamic look of your website. And it's great to use to impress others, and no matter what direction, if you're trying to do it yourself as a freelancer or if you're trying to land a job, Bootstrap is definitely a great add-on there that a lot of people woo over, so to speak. So I'll be touching on Bootstrap as well. Now, my website, zwebby.com, is has a lot going on for it. I will walk you through on each and every element, and also break things down for you in other video series on how to build an advanced website such as this that does linking, has a lot of dynamic components and elements to it, and also looks very, very professional. So I will touch on that in other series down the road. So, all right, with further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go over some basics here. Before you do that, it's very, very important that you download a IDE or something to where you could go ahead and build your website. I use Visual Studio Professional, and Visual Studio is a IDE from Microsoft, primarily for the developer platform, and also .NET language platform. And so I will definitely be using Visual Studio in the this series here for you, so you'd be able to build those dynamic websites. So let's go ahead and download Visual Studio. So you could easily Google it. So Visual Studio download. And it comes in either Windows or Mac. Then you just go ahead and download that. Now, you could always do a free trial for Pro and Enterprise. After the 30-day trial is up, you will have to pay for it. So most freelancers or most standalone developers choose to do Community. And this is a free download there. Visual Studio 2017 is a great way to learn, a great way to develop your websites. And after you download it, it'll just go ahead and walk you through on how to set it up. It is a very, very large file, so you do need some disk space and a decent processor on your computer to run it. But outside of that, it is everything that you need. So if you want to go ahead and take some time and download it, definitely pause this video and pick up after you download it, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. I have Visual Studio Preview, and so if you want to also download, if you prefer to do the Visual Studio Preview, you're welcome to do that. There's really not too much difference if you're a standalone. Here, let me go ahead and just get out of this. if you're a standalone freelancer. But the preview that I will be using is the 2019, which is the latest one that's going to roll out later on this year. So if you want to download that, go back to the download page. And there you go, Visual Studio 2019. And you can download the community. So Visual Studio Code, it's open source. I'm not too keen on it because it's very limited on what you could do. If you just want to go ahead and code and launch Angular applications or Node.js applications, then Visual Studio Code is fine. But when you get into the more technical .NET and backend stuff, the standard Visual Studio IDE or individual development platform or environment is what you need. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okie dokie. So after you download your Visual Studio, if you're in the 2019, you want to go ahead and create a new project. And then it's going to give you several options. Now, if you're starting out from scratch, you definitely want to go ahead and just type in ASP. And Active Server Pages is a Microsoft platform that is their version of a front-end website. Now, I'm going to use the ASP.NET Web Application Platform here. And so we could go ahead and just continually add on and build on top of what we do. So we're going to do this. We're going to work out a C#, which is a language that I'm going to teach you later on down the road, but you don't have to worry about that right now because we're focusing on HTML. All right. Oh, went too fast. So your project name, you want to name this whatever website that you're trying to get out. So in my case, I'm not trying to launch a website. I'm just teaching you. I'm just going to do example website. It's kind of boring, but oh well. You want to go ahead and save to a drive. So I created a web applications folder. You might want to do that. I have it pointing to documents. It seems that I have some projects already in here that I'm working on. You don't necessarily have to, or I don't have to add another one, but I'm going to point it to the web applications folder. Let's go ahead and get this started. Solution name, that's the example website. And all this you'll see here in a second. The framework, you want to go with the latest framework, which is 4.7.1. Then you hit create. Over here, I'm gonna explain this here. MVC is Model View Controller, which is a backend technology from Microsoft. I'm going to go over that here in a later video series, so you don't have to worry about that. Web API works with MVC. Web API is a type of backend server support, which I will go over here in a later series, and it goes over RESTful HTTP services. And it includes browsers and mobile devices and could reach a broad range of clients. So if you're wanting to get into that, you found the right spot. So you always want to go ahead and create a project for unit tests so you can do some testing. I will go ahead and get into this IDE here on how to build and also do all your essential testing on your end before you launch your website. And then authentication, you don't have to worry about that because we're not creating logins for this. And so you just go ahead and hit create. That's going to take a couple minutes. Create the project. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and get started. And one thing to learn about Visual Studio is it's very developer friendly once you get used to it. And it's a very easy platform to get around. Of course, you could go ahead and get very technical with it and very advanced with it. But if you're just building websites for the first time, then that's definitely something that this would come in handy for. So, all right. ASPX is a Microsoft ASP.NET extension. So an extension on a website is what your website is named. It's how users or people on the outside will go ahead and view your website. So in this case, we're going to go with the HTML extension. I'll teach you here in a second how to build that. So we're not going to do too much with ASP.NET right now. And that's going to be in a later video series. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and focus on HTML. So you want to go ahead and click on your name of the website up here. Right click, go down to add. Don't worry about any of this right now because that's not important. And then you want to go to HTML page. The box will pop up. You want to name your HTML page index. And most Linux servers are case sensitive. So if you do this right here, index, it may or may not direct to the right page. So you want to definitely make sure you do lowercase for this. And then you go ahead and press OK. Let me walk you through the basics. So this is what a plain nothing editor looks like with basically nothing in it. So the doc type is what this editor or what browsers will read. In this case, it's going to be HTML. So you want to read or you want to place HTML underneath it. And then that's you always, whenever you do a web page, you always want to make sure that you have your HTML tag. HTML, head, and body are your three main tags that you must do, no matter what. Because if you don't, your website may not launch correctly, and it's going to be a bit of a problem. You're going to find yourself frustrated trying to figure out why. And then the head is where you put all your good stuff, like your keywords, your meta tags, everything that you need to have on your web page so you can get searched or so people can find you over the Google, Yahoo, and Bing platforms. And then the title is going to be the title of your website. So let's just go ahead and do websites are us. Something plain and boring for the time being. Now, if you want to name your website your own personal website or whatever your business wants to do, definitely place it in there. But for the example or purpose of this video right here, we're going to go for that. Now, I'm going to get into meta tags here in the next video, but right now we're just going over basics. And I'm going to go ahead and at least show you how to place some content on this website or web page. No links, nothing. Linking is going to be later on. And right now we're just purely going to focus on content. And the head is always going to show up in the top of the browser. So anytime that you click on a tag, like right over here, it's going to show up right over here. So I placed on mine creating experiences. because that's my theme, that's my logo. And so you just want to create your experiences. All right, so on to the body. Now, also, I do want to point out that when you add CSS, which I will get into here in a later series, you want to always add your tag right up here in the head section. And you want to always do a style sheet and then href. That's how you link. And if I had a folder here called CSS, it would show up. And then let's do style CSS. And then you want to always close it. Now the body is where you type your code. The body is primarily what you do on how to, or where you go on how to get this result right here. Everything you see right here is coded in the body. So it's definitely not going to show up like this. The browser will read every single piece of code that we place in the editor and lay it out like right here, how it displays. So I'm going to walk you through on how to do every single thing on this, every element here. But I'm going to do it in steps so you don't get overwhelmed. So right now, we're going to go ahead and just do a header tag, H1, nothing special. And we're going to just do it the title of your website. Websites are us. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to show up on the page, and I'll always view it without compiling it, which is the preferred method. I'll get into all this later on when I'm explaining how to build a website and launch it, and also build .NET applications. This is definitely crucial for building .NET applications. Build. That's the developer motto and slogan. All this stuff will definitely come in handy. Obviously, your basics right here. Save, open, new project, back button, etc. So let's go ahead and just launch what we have here. Well, you don't want to rename it. View in browser. So it may take a little bit depending upon your processor speed. But it's going to open up your browser, and there we have it, Website RS. Now, obviously, it's just text in a boring white background. So, we want to get out of this. What we do is we're going to go ahead and put some elements to this. This is where I'm going to get into basic CSS. CSS is cascading style sheets. It's a styling language that is primarily used for front-end development on how to build websites. And you could, if you don't want to get into the actual style sheet itself, then you could put the element right in here within the HTML tag, which is actually the easiest way to go, because I'll teach you here in other videos series that you could create CSS elements or selectors for these HTML tags. And you don't want to confuse the system or confuse the browser when you're matching the selectors to the tags. So you want to go ahead and add your folder. So you do new folder, and then just do CSS. Now to add a CSS file, you want to go and click on the folder, click add, And then you want to do style sheet. Let's do style. And it's already got a place on the extension right here. So it's going to start you out with a body code, or sorry, a body element right here. We're not going to worry about that right now. We're not even going to worry about getting in here until the next video. But to really make this little tag here show up and be flashy, I'm going to show you how to do this. So to add CSS styling within an HTML tag, you always want to place the style element right here. And this tells the browser, hey, somebody wants to go to make this H1 tag look good. That's what we're going to do. So if you want to go ahead and add a color to your tag, you want to do color. If you don't know hex codes, that's fine. It's going to list out the type of color right here. And there's literally hundreds. Well, I wouldn't say hundreds, but I would say probably over 100. You just choose your color, whatever you want. And basically, colors on a website has to match up with what your overall theme is. So if you have a specific theme like I do on my website, as you could tell throughout, everything is the theme on mine is like a mountain experience. So everything is color coordinated towards that. And so yeah. All right, so back to it. So let's go to make this my favorite color for the time being, blue. All right, all you do is that. Now, if you want to have or add several elements, semicolon. In this case, we're going to do a text align. We're going to do center. We're going to save. You could always do F5. Or just click enter. It's going to reload it, and there we go. Websites are us. Now let's go ahead and put some interesting things on here. So like we're going to make some content right over here. And I'm going to get into, well, this video, I'm just going to do basic content. So we're going to just add a paragraph, space it out, and then get into some more advanced HTML styling and whatnot later on here. So P means paragraph. So you want to just type out your content right here. Well, before I do, I'm going to go ahead and just do a break, a line break. BR in HTML is just break or line break. So you want to do that if you want to go ahead and space or enter. And then P or for paragraph. So let's go ahead and just type something in. So welcome to our webpage. I hope you enjoy the experience. Thank you for visiting. And then if you want to go ahead and just place something in here like, we welcome everyone and their comments. Please click on the comment button below. Something like that. Then of course, F5. Or if you're on a laptop, it's FN F5. Then it's going to just show up there. If I had multiple lines, it would just word wrap, and it would just kind of continue on the page. So we're not done yet. You want to make sure that this looks presentable. Well, I'm going to get into more advanced HTML here in the next 2 videos. But you want to always make sure that when you're done with something, you have your end tag. And the end tag is what you closes off. And then you start your next sequence of code. And then now with the P element, it automatically creates the line for you so you don't have to. And then, you know, if you want to say, my name is Robert DeCrescentis, because that's my name, so you can put your name in. I live near Chicago. I am married and am loving life. Something like that. And as you can see over here, after you refresh, it's going to add that line. You don't even have to do the line break. And so it's just like that. Now I'm going to get into Bootstrap columns later on, most likely in the next series. So definitely come back for that, the next video rather. And the next video is where we're going to get into our meat and potatoes. Also, one quick thing that I do want to let you know here before I let you go is if you're trying to add a footer is what's on the bottom of a website. And footers are great for just adding that little exclamation point or that endpoint to the website. So this is a footer right over here. And you could always see right here I have a hard line, which I'll get into here in the next video. But I have this split up between columns. Footer is essential to a lot of websites and very, very important, which I personally would highly recommend you placing a footer on every single website that you build, because this just tells the viewer or user that the website's going to end at some point, or that page is going to end at some point. And also you could put some keywords in your footer also to help your presence over Google, Yahoo, and Bing. All right, so this is it for now. The intro video to Websites 101, or whatever you want to call it. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was very informative. And if you want to jump ahead, definitely get onto these online web tutorials from W3 Schools. I highly recommend that. And come back for the next one, where I'm going to go and teach you how to add on to the style sheet. This right here. Create some dynamic elements within your HTML page, and also start getting to look like, start having it look like an actual website or an actual web page. So stay tuned, come back, and it was my pleasure.